what do you make of that one? Nicky Kabamba with the last minute, 2 minutes from time, winner for Bromley to beat Barrow 2-1. I'm Mashal St. Patrick Hewitt, author, editor, not copywriter. That's Peter Etherington for From Bromley with Love.news. Go and subscribe, people. It's in the link below. That's where you get all the key write-ins. But if you prefer the YouTube stuff, that's why I'm recording this now. This is the verdict. Did we deserve that? I think so. I think I just did the interview with Andy Wing, or just listened in on his interview with the Barrow media team, and he was like, we didn't deserve to lose that. And that's one of those interesting games, because if you study the stats back, for those who love their stats, I think all the stats will point to Bromley creating the better chances over the course of 90 minutes. But at the same time, I understand why Andy Wing would say we being Barrow didn't deserve to actually lose that match. It was a game of, call it, fine margins. But I think you could say that in the last 20 minutes, am I being biased here? I think in the last 20 minutes, I thought Bromley looked the most likely to score. Doesn't mean they possibly deserve to score, but I think they looked the most likely to score. So on the balance of play, Bromley had one shot on target in the first half, took it, scored. When Barrow equalised, they'd only had one shot on target, took it, scored. So it's 1-1 after 50 minutes. Josh Gordon then heads wide around 65 minutes. At that point, I was like, okay, this is looking a bit intriguing here. Barrow might go on to win this game, but that's why I'm saying from the last 15 minutes onwards, Bromley created the more threatening chances. As I now scan to the pitch, Hondermark had one saved from Stanway. Stanway then saves with his feet from Elarewe's Deji's follow-up. At the death, Stanway pulls off a save from Cheeky. It was already 2-1 at that point. Obviously, Kabamba scores the winner to make it 2-1. And then if you're thinking about what Barrow did after that header from Gordon on 65, did Grant have to make a save? I don't think. I mean, he had to make saves, but did he have to make a significant save? No. So again, I'm not saying Bromley were super dominant. No way. But if you're gonna weigh up the balance of real chances created, I think you could say that Bromley shaded that game just about. I think a bigger debate that people have is how Andy chooses to set up. You'll see my interview with Andy. Maybe you've watched it already. Maybe you're watching this one after Andy's interview, or maybe this is before Andy's interview. But if you're watching this one first, the reason I asked Andy the question about formation changes and stuff and things like that is simply because in that first half, and we've seen it against possibly Bristol Rovers, I think we saw it against MK Dons, probably saw it against, I wasn't at Colchester, but probably it was a similar against Colchester last week. Bromley, for me, set up to be robust in the first half, or in the first 45, first 60 minutes. Andy referred to them as his dogs of war. So what's that? Jude Arthurs, Ashley Charles, Will Hondermark, and then Corey Whiteley buzzing in and around it, right? Those guys are in the team to basically run the legs off the opposition. Are they the most creative players in the world? No. Do Bromley create a lot of guile and ingenuity through the centre of the pitch? No. That's largely up to Mitchell Pinnock on the, sorry, that's my left. That's largely up to Mitchell Pinnock on the left, possibly Marcus Eiffel on the right. And then obviously Cheeky does his business up front. But what those guys do for me is they set up the game. Now, granted, you could say to me, Bash, what if it goes wrong? But how often does it go wrong? So I think on the balance of how often Andy gets this right, he has his dogs of war in the middle of the pitch, they set up the game. Barrow then equalise, you then have to change things. And the reality is, Andy can now turn to his bench and change things if he has to change things. Who came on to change the game? Crowhouse came on, changes the game. Kabamba comes on, changes the game. Brooklyn Lunga comes on, left wing back, changes the game. Would you prefer, and I think what Bromley fans have to ask themselves is this, would you prefer to start the game with those players, make it more expansive, take the game to the opposition, but potentially make yourself more likely to lose? Or do you prefer the way Andy goes about it, which is a robust setup at the start of a match, and then turn into the creative outlets, or there you go, turn into the more creative outlets, or the players that can cause more headaches for the opposition from about 60 minutes onwards? Not everyone would agree, but it works at the end of the day. And if you look at Bromley's form over the last however many games now, we've beaten Colchester away, we've beaten MK Dons at home, we beat Crewe away, and we've now beaten Barrow at home. We're up to 5th in League Two. Just pause and let that sink in, right? Whether you're a Bromley fan of long-standing, whether you're a recent Bromley fan, whatever it may be, maybe you're one of those Bromley fans that have never seen us be shit, right? At the end of the day, Bromley are 5th in League Two. And not only are they 5th in League Two, they look like they could be top 3 in League Two, because who have we played this season? When you look at when you analyse it all, who have Bromley played this season that look good, or look significantly better than Bromley? No one. Bromley still only lost 3 games this season. No other team in League Two has lost as few games as that. I think it's high time now that everyone accepts what this is. Bromley are going for automatic promotion.